Yes, Phoenix, Arizona, home of people who can't count, right? And
we're sitting in Maricopa
if anyone
County.
can count or at least knows what a calculator looks like, you could probably do a better job than our election officials.
Okay, you'll have
right?
to say that again for our TikTok audience because we're
Because that'd
sitting.
be controversial.
Well, we're here at America Fest 2022, and in the hot seat with me is now Alan Skillicorn. If you follow my podcast at all, you've heard Alan before. He's talked extensively about things in Arizona, including illegal immigration. But you're at America Fest, and you basically just said that we are in the place where they can't seem to count.
Absolutely. So if you want to come to Maricopa County and you want to count, you could run the election better than our election officials. And frankly, if you know what a calculator looks like, you don't even know how to use it, you probably could do a better job than our current elected officials here.
Okay, so let's go there. Let's just talk about this a little bit. It's really a topic that we have not talked with anybody else who's been I've been interviewing today. But let's talk about the fact that she gets to only see 150 ballots. Like, what is that type of decision? Is that considered a recount?
So, well, she does not. Kara Lake does not qualify for a recount, and there is something about if you had ballots go out into the wild. We need to adjust this a little bit.
Oops!
Oh,
I thought that was on. Okay,
we can
All
hear
right.
much better now.
Okay,
but it's like I go right back into it. I mean,
let's go right back into it.
So there is. I mean, there are some concerns. Would you want every signature to be out there in the wild, and you could have people stealing signatures? Probably not. Right. But under the situation where if the judge grants the attorneys look it over, that's is normal evidentiary procedure, and that's something that they should have an opportunity to see. But I think there's a bigger thing than that. I mean, that is where if you're going to imply there's some sort of fraud, that's where you're going to look. But let's just look at the fact that thousands and thousands of people that live here were turned away on Election Day. Now, maybe Republicans should have voted early. I like to vote in person, but early. But there were so many people that came and were turned away. I was at places where parking lots were full. People were parked like a block away. I mean, if we would have had a valet service for people, maybe more people would have voted. But literally, if you're a senior citizen, you can't walk very well, would you really walk 2 blocks in the vote and then stand in line for an hour? Or 2 hours or 3 hours.
You think legitimately saying people were disenfranchised because they could not in a normal time frame actually vote.
If this happened in Atlanta, Georgia, the Justice Department would be all over it. Just period.
Good point.
And literally most of these places had multiple hour-long waiting lines. So if you had to get back to work or you had to go pick up your kids from soccer or whatever, how would you sit and wait in line for 3 hours? And, look at some of the numbers here. 223 voting centers. That's it for Maricopa County. 4 million people live in Maricopa County. Do the math. That's not going to work. And then of those 223, 59% had problems with the printers and tabulators.
Yeah, it's obscene. It's awful.
These elected officials had one job, and they had 2 years to plan for it, right? And they couldn't do that job. So back in 2018, there was kind of like a sweet grandmother that was the recorder in Maricopa County. Her name was Helen Purcell. She had done it for 20 or 30 years, long time incumbent. And she went to this voter center model, right? And we had long lines and she was kicked out of office, and that was a primary election. If we don't have the same criteria for our current recorder and all the members of the Board of Supervisors, what are we doing, people?
All right, so Illinois also started to institute vote centers. And so DuPage County took it to a level that nobody else has taken it to in the state of Illinois. They have made every single, what used to be just a precinct polling place, every single one of them is now a vote center because we have poll books. So you could literally, on demand, print the ballot for whatever.
We should bring over a big star here, James C. Harris from the Phoenix area.
Oh, my gosh. Great.
How you doing, sir? Absolutely.
Well, we'd love to have him on. We'd love to have you on our podcast. Let's do it. Okay. All right. We'll do that. Okay. So,
competitor.
Well, they have, they've basically gone to vote centers.
Yeah.
Guess what they found out? Like, at least
doesn't work.
In just one state rep district, Deanne Mazzachi's state rep district, we had somebody look at the log files. According to the log files, at least 380 voters in just that one state rep district. By the way, she lost by like 325 votes. 380 voters were given the wrong ballot. At these vote centers, there's no
these
reliability.
Are mistakes that should not happen. And mistakes like that take away the right to vote. Those people, they had their vote suppressed. And what about the stories we don't hear about? This has got to be simple. Of you have to run it well. It doesn't matter what political party you are. You have to run it well. You have to give people the right to vote. And it doesn't matter. In that case, it was a Democrat. In our case, it was McCain Republicans that screwed it up. But you have to do the job, and it has to be fixed. And some of this stuff, it does appear that these tabulator problems happen in areas where there is higher Republican turnout. And then all of a sudden, we have an attorney general's race that is decided by 500 votes. There is one vote center alone where there's documented 500 people that were turned away. One vote center alone. Oh, my gosh. So it just, it's ridiculous.
Where do you think this ends? Because literally the entire nation is watching Carrie Lake and her lawsuits and wondering if she's going to have the wherewithal to see it to the finality.
So there's two sides of this coin.
All righty.
So one is... if I was going to predict, right, and I will absolutely admit that I was completely wrong of what happened a month ago. I thought there was going to be a red wave. I thought that how could the general public accept what Joe Biden and his cronies have done to our country? The inflation, the gas prices, the getting us involved in another freaking war that we do not want, right? All the incompetence, all the gaffes, all the stupid things they're doing in our schools, and then turn around, and I would have thought we would be competitive in every state, even states like that we shouldn't have been,
even
like
Illinois. You saw,
no,
I know, but honestly, with the Safety Act on top of it,
I knew you had amazing people there. You had Tulsi Gabbard coming in for Darren Bailey, but I kind of knew.
Not even that. No, I'm not talking about that.
Kind of knew.
I'm talking about some individual state rep districts where we had phenomenal candidates.
I didn't even know that Representative Marzocchi lost.
Yes.
And she was someone that I know you know her well, but I served with her, and so she served in front of me, and she had this ability to read and understand so fast. So I'm reading the bill, and I'm just going, okay, and she's like halfway through the bill. And frankly, our Republican leadership was so inept that I kept on telling them, debate every bill, slow it down.
Absolutely.
So I can read it and find out what's bad it's in there. Because when you're doing 200 bills a day, we can't.
Well, and Al and I served together in the state legislature, so we know this well. But the other truth of it is that there's so many of our colleagues sat in their hands, let other people do the work, didn't want to argue the bill. They were in safe seats. They really didn't care about making an argument. They didn't. Unless it was their hot button issue or something. So many people just sit there. So we're sitting here,
and every bill had something bad in it.
Yeah, every
bill had.
Every one of them should have been. Yep.
And honestly, there's probably people nationwide that don't know the dynamics of Illinois.
Right.
But, we had the longest serving speaker, the most corrupt speaker in the country there. And every bill, even if it was like the Puppy and Kitten Care Act, right? There was something in that bill which defunded something or funded something really bad. It was hidden in that bill. And they would all vote. That's why they could run mailers against us. We could have the perfect voting record, right? And we'd have these mailers saying that Jeanne Ives is for kicking puppies because there was hidden in there.
I know.
All 118 reps voted for this bill that endorses kicking puppies, but they're going to send the mailer to your constituents for that.
Okay.
And that's how Speaker Madigan works.
I don't think you were there for this bill, but I guess, this is hysterical, right? We should just do a little recap here. There was literally a bill where the title of the bill was tire fee increase or something, right? And so, but actually all it was doing was cleaning up language from a long time ago that said that the tire fee for disposal was $2. And that had happened a long time ago. They were just updating language. And so everybody, if you're paying attention, you knew this, right? And so the question was asked in the floor debate. Does this have anything to do with increasing tire fees? And the answer from the sponsor, the answer from the chair is no, because obviously this was just the name that they gave it. Yeah. I don't even know how they title some of these legislation.
And the sponsor didn't even write the bill.
No, but by the way, still 42 people voted against because they thought it was a tire fee.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it wasn't. I mean, that's just nonsense.
So here
Nobody
is,
reads this stuff. It's crazy.
So I served a term, and then you left, and I took your chair.
Yes,
so I
you
got
did.
the Jeanne Ives chair in the corner. But I would try to lead the conservative caucus, but also the freshmen that didn't know any better, right? And we all call them targets, right?
Right.
So I would always watch the voting, and you notice it's all going green, right? And you see red on a Democrat target, red Democrat target, red Democrat target. Oh, there's something bad in this bill that they don't want to put their targets on. And I'd yell out, targets down, and that would be our symbol that won the conservative caucus, which there was only like seven of us.
Yeah.
But then there was 5 or 6 people that you would listen and figure out, oh, maybe there's something bad in this bill. And I mean, I would do that all the time. And it was funny that no one else picked up on stuff like that.
Or that leadership didn't.
Yeah, shame on them for.
I know.
Well, when I first came in, there was a couple times that a staffer noticed that, and that's how how do you learn? I didn't just figure this out, right?
Right.
Like I had to learn from someone. So there's a couple times I noticed, and then you start just looking for trends.
Right.
And when the those couple of those Democrats that live in districts that are very purple, they start voting no, and everyone's voting yes.
You're like, there's something
they know. And the people
because
that are watching,
they have their little black book. If they're a
the
freshman
people
on the
that are watching
Democrat
this
side,
probably don't know this.
Right.
So when I served, it was Marty Moylan. Representative Marty Moylan from
Des Plaines.
Yeah, that area there. He was the mayor there, right?
Yes.
So I remember asking him, hey, is there anything controversial about Bill 2811 or something, right? And he pulled out this little sheet of paper here, and he had a sheet of about a dozen bill numbers that the target caucus was not allowed to vote for. So now I always brought this up when talking to bipartisan groups. If you live in that district, it means that your rep doesn't get to vote for you. They're actually told how they can vote on certain bills because they determine how they want that makeup to be.
And same thing happened to me. I went over to a freshman state rep. I said, look, would you be willing to support my bill? This is all it does. It's common sense. And she's like, let me get my book out and check. She pulls out her book and says, oh, no, I can't vote for that. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And unfortunately, our side just was not smart enough to do that. And
no, not all.
Anyway, now that I'm being more involved here, I'm trying to take these lessons I've learned and the cynicism that I have developed and bring it to here. Especially, we got a situation here where we could have, Governor Karen, which is going to be, I can't say her name. It's Governor Karen, at least elect at this point, right?
Yeah.
And then we have a Republican legislature, and our Senate's pretty rock solid. Our House is good, but I think could use a little bit of help.
Okay, how many members do you have in your House and Senate?
Well, we have 60 districts.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 30 districts, and so we have 2 House members per district. So we have 60 members in the House, and in the Senate, the same districts. There's 30 individuals, so it's 30 senators, 60
and
reps.
What's the makeup?
So it is. We have we're 31 and 16. So majority Republican. So we can't give
narrow.
up. Yeah,
that's really narrow.
We can't give up any votes.
I'm kind of shocked it's that narrow in Arizona.
So this is what really disappoints me. And last week, Governor Ducey, who's leaving, he had his speech saying that how Arizona is so much better with him, and he has done some good things. He hasn't fixed a lot of the things that really could have been fixed. But here, what really is irritating is that back in 2010, we have a bipartisan committee that draws the legislative maps. Unfortunately, the person that chaired that committee is also deciding vote 10 years ago was a Green Party person. So they sided with Democrats. And they drew the maps that benefit Democrats. And that's why our congressional delegation was 6-3 to Democrat. And now we have flipped that now. But we have a very competitive legislative map in Arizona, but we didn't pick up any seats.
Okay. How do you feel about Andy Biggs?
Andy Biggs is fabulous.
I think he's great. Yeah. I've talked to him a number of times, but he is doing the 5 there's 5 people challenging McCarthy on this speakership issue. Do you think he should just come along now? They've already had the fight. They've already had a pre-vote. There's a lot of really
well, it all depends on this week if they let that crazy
spending bill,
$1 trillion spending bill go
that's
through.
wrong.
I mean, why should Republicans?
I think that
why
seems
should
like
McCarthy be rewarded if he doesn't hold his caucus together now?
Well, I would think that they would hold together on that. I think that's more a McConnell issue.
Yeah, but there's still. they've got some problems there, and frankly, I think that pressure is necessary. And our congressional delegation here is probably one of the most conservative. We got Gosar and Biggs in our delegation. So we're doing well there. Someone's got to put that pressure on, and I'm not going to wholeheartedly say that McCarthy. I can't. I would have a hard time supporting him. I mean, it just all that money wasted in the Ukraine, going along. I mean, effectively what's going to happen this week is we're going to allow the Democrats to dictate us what we're going to do for the next 2 years. And even though we rightly have power in the House of Representatives, but they're going to probably give it away this week.
Okay, let's turn to just a couple other topics that I wanted to cover with you. One is illegal immigration. Let's go there. You're looking on Wednesday, essentially Title 42 will go away. There's already reports that there are tens of thousands of folks waiting in cities in Mexico, just waiting for Title 42 to go away. I mean, I've talked to one gentleman here. He does a lot of extraditions for illegals. He flies with them as security, and he flies them out of the country. He says he expects that work to go to almost zero because a lot of the people that are on those plane loads are Title 42 folks. They've been turned away because we ostensibly are under a health emergency, and rulings back from like the from 1950 allow for this to happen. Are you worried? I see homeless around Phoenix. I haven't seen illegal immigrants, but I'm sitting here in the center of Phoenix. I know it's an issue. Is it in the shadows in Arizona, or do you have to be on a border town to really see it?
There are bright shining lights here and there. Okay. Not everywhere, but there is definitely here, even in the suburbs, even in Scottsdale. There are, ICE that has hotels are using.
Oh, they do.
They're putting people up. Now, I don't see homeless people that appear to be migrants.
I don't
unless
either.
They're migrants from California. They appear more so to be.
Okay.
But I don't see that. But actually, we should connect and do a tour of the border.
I'd love to do that.
Once this gets over, because I think what we'll see is we'll be with the Border Patrol agents, and you go, see, there's a group of 6 going across right now. And we're going to see it. The last time I was there, I saw a few people that were apprehended, but all they do is they pull out that little laminated card and say that they're here for asylum, and it's effectively granted. The actual hearing is years away. Imagine, so if it's like that now, imagine if we have double or triple amount of people coming across. I mean, these Border Patrol agents, they can't stop anything. And frankly, what's happening is the coyotes know this. So they'll have a family go greet the Border Patrol agents. They'll give them a little card asking for asylum. And then in the background, behind them, flanking them, are the real bad guys. And they're the ones that have the fentanyl and stuff like that. Whereas they will purposely do that to, mislead and frankly, it's a really easy tactic. And now that the
so the family's acting as a distraction as the real illegals come in through the side door.
Absolutely.
I mean, so I talked about this.
It may not be a family. It could be unrelated adults,
right? That
taking children.
That look like a family. So I mean, the other thing about that is like, have we ceded literally our borders to gangs and cartels?
Here in Arizona, yes, we have.
There is a
very specific cartel that effectively runs our border. There's different cartels that operate in different areas in Mexico. The one that is kind of in our area here, it really runs the border. I mean, it isn't.
Why is
they
this
aren't
allowed?
colluding with Border Patrol, but they're effectively colluding with our president and Mayorkas and those guys. I mean, effectively they are.
Yes, the Biden administration has ceded our border control to a cartel.
And you think of it this way. So there is a Democrat sheriff on the border that says that anyone that puts any more of the shipping containers on the border, will be arrested for littering, basically, right? Well, so that Democrat sheriff teams up with our new Governor Karen. Just imagine the chaos that could happen, and you cannot tell me that Governor Karen is not going to appoint people that'll look the other way or support this. And already, remember when DeSantis got criticized for flying people to St. Martha's Vineyard or whatever?
Yeah, Martha's Vineyard.
All the charities are already doing that. There's charities already busing people, flying people to the cities. It already is happening. I mean, effectively, they show that little card and they get processed, and if they play their cards right, there'll be a bus waiting for them, and they go, "Where you want to go?"
So coming soon to a neighborhood near you.
They're coming to Illinois.
That's of course they are. They're coming 3,800 already.
If you're watching this podcast, United States, they're coming to your urban areas.
That's right, 100%.
And these people, these people want to work, but they don't have green cards, right? They don't have the ability to legally work, so they're going to be, undermining, local blue-collar labor. They don't have any health care. They're just going to be walking into hospitals. It's wintertime. People are going to get pneumonia and head colds and stuff like that, and they're just going to walk into emergency rooms, and there's a tremendous cost to that. Tremendous cost to that.
Right, so when you have a 6-hour wait in the ER, yeah, now you know why. Hey, so last thing is, you moved from Illinois to Arizona. How's it going for you? Are you glad you made the decision? Tell us about that.
Every day, I absolutely love being here.
Really?
And so people talk about about having seasons.
Yeah, 4 seasons.
We have seasons. We have morning. Okay, it was cold this morning. So I worked a little bit this morning. I put the top down in my convertible to drive to work, and I was parked in the shade, and it was a little chilly. I had to have the heat on. Okay. But in all seriousness, the other day I had to, I still transport across the country a little bit. So I was driving up in not even northern Arizona. I was between Show Low and Payson, which are like kind of middle Arizona kind of.
Okay.
But in higher elevation. And there was snow. There was an elk that wanted to jump right out in front of me. This is a wild wilderness state. Most of it is at elevation. The average elevation in Arizona is 4,300 feet.
Wow.
Anything above 4,300 feet, a saguaro will not grow. So it gives you an idea. So we have desert down here, and then most of northern Arizona, snowy and wintry, pine trees. There's a mountain we have on the east side of Maricopa, 4 Peaks. It's 7,800 feet tall. When I hiked up it over the summertime, it's all pine trees. It's like Colorado.
Wow.
And most of our state is not urban developed. So it has kind of that feel.
Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice.
Look at all those states that have a rural population and an urban center that, like Illinois, they tend to go left. So frankly, I actually would advocate for moving Tucson and Phoenix to Mexico, and then keeping the rest of it as Arizona myself. Actually, we'll trade Mexico, Rocky Point, so we can have our own seaport. And then, we could have all that trade. If we had our own seaport, we would be like the richest state in the country.
All right. Well, that's great. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. So glad to have Alan Skillicorn here with me, my former colleague in the Illinois House.
If you're watching live,
people
can come to AmeriFest.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fest, you can still get in. 2022, we got a lot of good people.
Absolutely.
We have a fantastic Illinoisan coming up later tonight. Tim Poole will be here to do his Timcast live from AmeriFest.
Do we want to talk about who's around us?
Is
Mike Lindell still right across here?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He's still there.
Yep. Mike Lindell, Lindell TV's right
Harris,
there.
Who was on Phoenix Radio, but he was also the...
right behind us, right over here, is Breitbart. Right across is Red State. So we've got a lot of good patriots. Down here in I saw Jack Posobiec. We saw James from was it Project Veritas? What's his last name? James O'Keefe.
O'Keefe.
Yeah.
So just walking around here, you can bump into people. Just last night, if you like Babylon Bee, they did a series about the couple that moved from California to Texas. Well, I bumped into the actor.
I saw that on Facebook. Yeah, it's great.
So there's a lot of people that are here.
Byron Donaldson's wife just did a breakout session on education, and so I got to meet her.
If you're local, come on out. It's just a good time, and it's a great time to meet people, take pictures with people, and here's some great speakers.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Thanks a lot, Alan Skillicorn. Thanks for joining us on The Real Story.